Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Whitfield Report. Here on Right to Offend Media, I am your host, Sam Whitfield, back here in Florida, alongside Max Sand and Morpheus. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for hosting the show last week. That was fun.
It was fun. And you were still there, so really it was a regular episode in most ways. Of course, you weren't on camera.
No, this time I was a disembodied voice alongside Morpheus. So now I know how Mort feels all the time.
Yeah, we had like a full house last week to make up for you being there still.
Yeah.
and then we joked about
we
joked about the film series of Cocaine Cripple as like a wild joke, right? The ridiculous who would do that much cocaine? It turns out Nick Rekieta would do that much cocaine, right?
Yeah. And also, like, we made fun of, we didn't really make fun of, we roasted we roasted Aaron Imholte like two episodes ago for basically like actual, no more we crapped on Aaron Imholte for like actual cripple abuse.
For throwing
like 2 episodes ago,
crippled co-host under the bus, the same way he threw this wife under the bus a couple months ago when chat got mean to him. He blamed everything on her, and then they got, they went after her as trolls tend to do, and and now she got arrested with Nick Rekieta and his wife for, I believe it was 25 grams of cocaine. They got reported. I've read some of the documents. They got reported by a pastor, as well as other local people in the church. I think that they mean pastor in the sense that he was one of the parents that helped homeschool their children, right? So basically a teacher. And that the kids had said certain things about how they had been left home alone while the parents went out to casinos and things, and that there were drugs in the house. And it seems, actually, looking at it, more like an intervention than anything.
Yeah, but we'll get to all that. We do have a couple quick things to start with at the beginning of the show. Starting with a word from one of our new sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, and okay. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for an unforgettable experience. This June, join us for the premiere of Protocol 7, a true whistleblower story about Big Pharma, and the latest film by Andy Wakefield. Don't miss the exclusive chance to see it first, and join Andy and the filmmakers for a live Q&A after the screening. Mark your calendars for May 31st and June 1st in New York City, and June 14th and 15th in Los Angeles. Tickets are going fast, so grab yours today and witness the film first.
Which I guess you can do with this QR code right here.
Visit www.protocol7movie.com now to secure your spot. Yeah, and click the if you're watching on the computer,
if you're hip and you got one of them smartsy phones, you can use the QR code.
Yeah, should be pretty good. So in addition to that, ladies and gentlemen, that was our first ad read. Also, June is upon us, and we've been doing pretty well for the first 90 days of book sales.
The gays are coming, ladies and gentlemen.
The gays are the gay mafia is coming, but who will stop them? John Ryder will.
There's a premise for a fucking sequel right there. John Ryder takes on the Rainbow Mafia. Interesting.
Oh my
Killed Sam, Max.
I might actually have to do that now. So, but in the meantime, by the Fourth Estate, book number 2 in the Shadows of Deception saga, on sale on Amazon, and you can buy the first one too. And they're great books, if I do say so myself. Max really enjoys the paper quality.
I like the book too. I just point out that they're high quality.
The story is great.
Yeah.
We're not just selling trash, it's a well-written novel on some nice paper. I got it right here. I keep it right.
No,
keep it right by the desk.
And I actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to announce the title of the third book tonight later in the program, and we have a special excerpt reading as well.
Which I'm going to read, and I've never seen it before either. So,
right.
It's new to everybody.
But before we do that,
Sam is over here knowing what's going to happen.
I mean, I've seen it, but I wrote this while I was in Georgia, so this is new material that's going into the new book. But first, before we get into the reading, so Max, what is your take on the whole Ricada thing?
Another streamer that let the smallest crumb of fame go to his head. It's the story as old as streaming, as old as internet fame, and really as old as fame itself.
Yeah, that is.
I hope that he gets help with his problems, addiction, and that the kids are in a great state. That said, it is funny. It's funny, but it's sad at the same time. So, it's rough all around. That's what I think about it. There's a lot of kids involved, right? There's 2 families potentially worth of children, multiple children each, and you hate to see stuff like that happen. But, he got popular and apparently couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
I know he got real big with the Johnny Depp trial, and he went from a stream even this size to hundreds of thousands of people in a very short period, and it clearly fucking had an impact on him in some way. Unless he was but everybody's seen his decline just over the streaming of the last year. The last I had heard of him was the Johnny Depp stuff, and then here and there it was streams of him looking like he's cracked out or something.
Yeah.
So nobody's really surprised, I think.
I had first heard of him because of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
Yeah, he covered that too.
Because he did a pretty in-depth trial, and I thought it was all right, but it didn't make me a fan of his.
Well, he's all right for the streamer edgelord lawyer, right? That's a good gimmick for him. But it was never a gimmick that would be good in front of such a large audience, because he's still an edgelord. He's still, the big audiences might not find those jokes as funny, or you know what I mean? And then it becomes not as fun for you. This is one thing I warn about with streamers. I call it kind of the Tim Pool effect, is you just follow your most loyal fans, right? and they're telling you everything you're saying is right, and kind of they lead you down a path. You know what I mean? And it doesn't always come from you. Oftentimes it comes from external forces. And so there's a lot of pressure. You're now representing people somehow if you're a big streamer. And they want you to represent them specifically instead of what it should be is that you should be entertained. We're dancing clowns, ladies and gentlemen. Every single person on stream is just a dancing clown, and never forget that.
Dancing clown, yep.
Yeah, we do this show as much for you guys as we do it for us. At least we do here at Right to Offend Media. And we at least here, like, recognize that, I guess. That is the one thing that is, like, weird about streaming is, like, some of the...
Just supposed to be entertainment, right?
Yeah. Like, a lot of these streamers, especially the ones who are, like, big into, like, give me money, they're all, like, they're all about, you pay me. Yeah. Instead of like the other way around.
My time here is valuable as DSP streams his 20th fucking hour in a day.
Yeah.
Oh, you got to pay me for my time. Well, you could just stream less, bro. Right? Like, is your time really that valuable? And that's for anybody. It's not just bad streamers. It's good streamers too. It's supposed to be a pastime when you got nothing else to do, right? And therefore, just like or like radio was back in the day, you'd listen while you're working or something. That's it.
Yeah.
That's not a revelation, but that's all that it should be. People get personally invested. They think these streamers are their best buddy who they don't know you from fucking Adam. And it doesn't matter if you give them tons of fucking money. They still don't know you from Adam. They might know your internet name. They might know your name. They might say it in chat, but they're not your buddy.
Right.
And if you start to live vicariously through these people, you'll find yourself not doing a lot in real life.
Yeah, and that's kind of become a problem for a lot of these streamers, I've noticed.
Because they have to have the wild life. Because if they have a pretty normal life, well, you can live a normal life vicariously through your fucking self. Right? So if it becomes about them as a person instead of what they brought to the table initially, right? Then it's basically a reality show, and the crazier, the better. That's how you get clicks, right? Was Ricada getting clicks, just doing his normal trial streams, or is now he the fucking center of attention and getting addicted to coke, right? It actually in the attention economy, negative attention is a pro. It's plus.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you thumb down the video, and like there was a guy, my wife even pointed out, oh, there's a thumbs down on our first video, and I'm just like, yeah, who cares? That's engagement.
Yeah.
It counts the same as a thumb up in the algorithm.
Yeah.
It means somebody cared enough about your content to click a thing. That actually matters. That's why thumbs up and like, comment, and subscribe, guys, because it actually does help in the algorithm. The algorithm's like, oh, comments, good. Oh, thumbs up, good. Oh, thumbs down, good. Because people care, so they're clicking. They're engaging with the content. There is no bad engagement.
That's what I don't understand about bigger entities.
I agree.
That whine and bitch to YouTube about getting rid of the thumbs down. Like, it's all engagement. Positive, negative, whatever.
Yeah, but the corpos don't like it. It's not like, okay, yeah, like somebody who does a stream.
Fuck the corpos.
Yeah, but YouTube doesn't care about anybody but the corpos. Right? Like, just the fact of the matter is, you as a user on YouTube are completely expendable to them, but fucking Sony isn't,
Right.
Well, yeah, and the whole thumbs down thing, I believe the whole push to get rid of the thumbs down button literally started with things like Ghostbusters 2016.
Yeah.
Because Yeah, because all these movie trailers were just getting like match ratioed
in EA games and fucking Activision games. Like there was that Call of Duty that got the most thumbs down ever. Big corporations went to YouTube and said, we don't want any more thumbs down, thank you. And YouTube was like, yes, sir. That's what happened. That's why there's no thumbs down. But the average person understands that if I did something and it's like way more thumbs down, I'm not gonna make that again, right? But
it means I fucked up.
Corpos aren't going to take that feedback because they don't want. They're just buy our things, stupid. That's what they think of you. Buy our things, stupid.
Consume
just
product.
Keep buying
it. Product.
Hey, stupid! We got a new thing. You should go see the thing. Oh, some critics didn't like it. Well, let's remove negative critics. That's toxic. You don't want that. Buy the new thing.
Yeah.
Go see the new film. Go play the new fucking video game. And YouTube is like, yeah, we really got to get people doing all that because they should be stupider than they are, and it's not right. So YouTube took away our ability to express our displeasure.
Well, it's not even that sinister. It's that they.
Yes,
I mean, I guess it is.
It is. They think you're stupid. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it is that, but it's even more similar than that. It's like the corpos basically, I bet, like paid YouTube like a big sum of money just to like get rid of the thumbs down button. They weren't just like, hey, let's get rid of it. It was also like, hey, can you please get rid of the thumbs? And I bet YouTube was like, oh, well, I don't know about that. And then
Big Corpo was like, yes,
what if we give you this money?
Well, and then Big Corpo was like, we'll give you $1 gajillion if you get rid of the thumbs down button.
They didn't mean to give them shit. Like, you know why, Sam? Because they were already going to give them $1 gajillion because they're the advertisers that the whole system relies upon.
Yeah.
That's why YouTube will always kiss corpo ass because they are reliant upon corpo advertiser dollars. So that's their actual, by the way, if you're on YouTube, you are not the customer, you are the product being sold. Rumble is a little different. Rumble is a little different, and it's a corporate culture thing. But at the end of the day, their advertisers have a lot of sway, just like YouTube's would. It just so happens that they try to pick out of the box advertisers that are more open to different kinds of content, which is commendable, and that's what needs to happen to even compete with YouTube, for fuck's sake.
Well, and also, like, I would just like to point out, I just did an ad read, and like Rumble gave me the opportunity to do that ad read and make some money doing the ad read, which is really great. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time, actually, is to be able to do like live on air ad reads. We did a few weeks ago to make fun of the whole concept, but
some were legitimate. Cool. Some people actually sent us in some ad reads, and they got it for free, which actually is pretty good PR. Some people said they saw results from it. Other things were made up bullshit.
Yeah. So yeah. But anyway, well, Max, we've got big book news tonight as well. 2 bits of big info, actually. My friend Eric Bishop actually I actually got featured on Eric's big old timeline today. I can finally talk about this a little bit now, but as most of you know, I'm good friends with Eric Bishop. I had the opportunity to read his new book that is coming out, Breach of Trust, and I was honored today when I woke up and I pulled my phone out and I saw that Eric was generous enough to put my to share my thoughts on breach of trust with his audience. And so let me just pull that up here. So yeah. So we are 20 days out from breach of trust, and he's been doing this thing where he posts a blurb each week from one of the advanced readers. And this is what I had to say about breach of trust. Breach of trust takes suspense and thrills to the maximum, and is an exhilarating epic sequel to The Bodyman. And it really is, folks. So breach of trust comes out June 18th. So yeah, just 20 days from now. And I will have Eric back on the program. We're discussing when, we can do that, and should be a good time. So
always good when he comes on. Yeah, you guys.
Always good to have him on. And he'll also be releasing his book alongside Jack Carr, who's like the biggest name in the thriller. Yeah. So they'll be having a bit of friendly competition. And I actually texted him. I'm like, are you sure that's a good idea? And he's like, hey, I'm going to shoot my shot. So,
go for it, man.
So if anything, folks, please do consider, sending in those Rumble rants and those super chats tonight, because my bank account is going to need it in June if I'm supporting two of my favorite authors in the same month.
Yeah, that's the tough part, is you been introduced to all these authors, and I'm like, catching up on reading can get a bit pricey.
Yeah.
Of course, priorities. I caught up on the Shadows of Deception trilogy first and foremost.
Well, it's funny that you bring up the Shadows of Deception saga, because book number 3 is coming out here soon.
How soon, Sam?
Probably late July, early August, if I had to guess.
Fair enough.
And
right on.
I
expected when it's ready, so you gave more information than I was expecting.
I don't have a cover yet, but I can reveal the title. The title of the new book is Dogs of War, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll be introducing 2 new characters. One is a new protagonist that I kind of introduced, in the last one, Jason Miller, ex-Delta Force sniper turned vigilante in Mexico. And then we have a new villain that I came up with. In honor of a certain lawyer who made it big on the internet this week. And so Max, we're gonna, I'm not gonna read it from the beginning, but we are gonna go into chapter 8, which introduces Mr. Jason Miller, the vigilante.
A vertical flight, if you will.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, Max, are you, we have Doug Green, who is Connecticut's best radio broadcaster, and he narrates the books, but you were in Massachusetts radio for
Rhode Island,
time,
actually.
Max. Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And so let's see how Rhode Island radio can narrate the Shadows of Deception.
Well, I'm certainly not their best broadcaster, because I was gone for a long time, but this looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Give me one moment here. I need a sip. The cantina was dimly lit. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot. Chapter 8. The hunt starts in Mexico. Yes, that's important. Let me get set up. See, I was... All right, that should work. The cantina was dimly... Let me take 3 on that, Sam. The cantina was dimly lit, smoke-filled dive, a place where the fringes of society gathered to drown their sorrows and make illicit deals. Jason Miller sat at a corner table nursing a glass of tequila. The former Delta Force sniper, now an operative of Task Force Lazarus, had become accustomed to the seedy underbelly of Mexican nightlife. His mission was clear: track down the cartel leaders responsible for sending hitmen to assassinate President Ethan Mitchell. Miller, bald with a distinctive 5 o'clock shadow, wore his signature Stetson hat and a Southwestern-style poncho over his tactical gear. His appearance was as much a part of his persona as his lethal skill set. He observed the room with cold, calculating eyes, his senses attuned to the slightest movement. Tonight, his target was Ricky Rackets, a washed-up...
Yeah. Nicky Rackets.
Nicky Rackets, a washed-up American lawyer who had fallen into the clutches of the cartel. Nicky, known for his slick demeanor and shady dealings, was a key link to the cartel captains Miller sought. The lawyer's presence in the cantina was no coincidence. He was there to conduct business, and Miller was determined to intercept him. Miller had been tracking Nicky for weeks, piecing together his movements and connections through a combination of surveillance, conversation, and, when necessary, brutal interrogation. The cantina provided the perfect cover for his operations, but it also meant constant vigilance. In places like this, danger lurked in every shadow. As Miller took another sip of his tequila, he noticed Nicky glancing nervously around the room. The lawyer's eyes met Miller's for a brief moment, and recognition flickered up in them. Nicky's demeanor changed instantly, and he whispered something to the 2 burly bodyguards flanking him. Miller's instincts kicked in. He knew a confrontation was imminent. The bodyguards moved with deliberate menace, their eyes locked on Miller as they approached his table. Miller remained seated, his posture relaxed, but his muscles coiled up like a spring. The first bodyguard reached for him, and in a blur of motion, Miller struck. His fist connected with the man's throat, crushing his windpipe and sending him to the floor, gasping for breath. The second bodyguard drew a knife, but Miller was faster. He grabbed the man's wrist, twisting it sharply until the knife clattered to the floor. With a swift, brutal efficiency, Miller slammed the man's head into the table, knocking him unconscious. The cantina erupted into chaos. Patrons scrambling to get out of the way, Miller rose from his seat, his eyes locking onto Nicky, who was already making a desperate run for the exit. Miller's pursuit was relentless, his footsteps echoing through the narrow streets as he chased the fleeing lawyer. Nicky's flight led them into the dark, narrow alley near his office. The lawyer stumbled, coming in ragged gasps, and Miller closed in, grabbing him by the collar and slamming him against the wall. The impact knocked the wind out of Nicky, and he crumpled to the ground, groaning. Miller's voice was low and dangerous. "You're going to tell me everything you know about the cartel captains. Start talking, or things are going to get very painful for you." Nicky's eyes darted around, searching for an escape, but there was none. He knew the reputation of the man standing before him, and the cold fury in Miller's eyes left no doubt about his intentions. "I don't know anything," Nicky gasped, but Miller's grip tightened, his knuckles turning white. "Wrong answer," Miller growled. He hauled Nicky to his feet and delivered a punishing blow to his stomach. Nicky doubled over, coughing and wheezing. Okay, Nicky spurted. "I'll talk. Just stop." Miller released his grip slightly, allowing Nicky to catch his breath. Names, locations, everything now. Nicky's voice trembled as he began to speak. "The cartel captains, they're operating out of a safe house on the outskirts of town. They're heavily guarded, but they're planning something big. I don't know all the details, but I know they're connected to the assassination attempt on President Mitchell. They have ties to a larger network, the Fourth Estate." Miller's eyes narrowed. The mention of the Fourth Estate confirmed his suspicions. He needed more details, but it was a start. He grabbed Nicky by the collar again, his voice cold and unyielding. "You're coming with me. You're going to lead me to that safe house." Nicky nodded frantically, his fear palpable. Okay, just don't kill me." Miller dragged Nicky out of the alley, keeping a firm grip on him as they made their way to a waiting vehicle. The night was far from over, and the information Nicky provided was just the beginning. Miller's mission was clear: dismantle the cartel's operations and uncover the full extent of the Fourth Estate's involvement. As they drove through the darkened streets, Miller's mind was already planning the next steps. He knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but he was prepared. With Nikki in tow and the pieces of the puzzle slowly coming together, Miller was ready to confront the shadows and bring justice to those who stood to undermine the very fabric of their democracy. The hunt was on, and Jason Miller was relentless in his pursuit. That's it.
End scene.
Very nice.
Good
Bravo, Mr. Sand. I was laughing my ass off while writing this the chapter because just
all I
picture
can think
this.
is all I can think is the lawyer wanting to ask, but can I take my Coke?
Yeah. I might add that in the final draft.
Yeah,
I gotta
just no, right? The answer is no, right? But like he would probably like, can I take my Coke?
I was gonna make a joke about like a Baldo or something, but that seemed a little too on point for for Nick Rekieta, I guess. I mean Nicky Rackets.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
no, I love it. I love it because that's the kind of the Weasley lawyer guy is the kind of character who don't want to get into any action, so you could always like keep that guy around to be the Weasley lawyer guy. You know, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, well,
I'm sold.
And like, yeah, so I mean, like, it's so like everyone's making fun of Nick Rekieta, like, oh, the hot tubs and the swinging and whatnot, and I'm like, oh, well, here's an opportunity to create a character, and yeah, so there have it, folks. The Dogs of War.
Which is also the oldest trope in fucking that kind of fiction, right? The Weasley guy who's into shady shit. He's not necessarily a villain, but he'll work for them for the right price.
Yeah.
And he'll sell them out the first moment somebody grabs him by the throat, as witnessed in the excerpt there.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, just picture. Well, let me see if I can find it. So, oh geez, I've got to scroll back on my timeline at least a week.
Of course, if you're into audiobooks, you should probably wait for the official audiobook rather than my scuff version because man, that guy's great.
Hey, you did better. You did better than I would have done. But
well, yeah. I was honored. I'm like the first person to read it in public. I have to do a decent job.
Yeah. So the Dogs of War coming out later this summer. Let me make sure. I think
a thrilling conclusion to the trilogy, might I add, as far as I could tell.
No, actually, that's the thing, Max. It's the conclusion of season 1.
Right. Of the trilogy doesn't mean he's gonna like. The only way a trilogy conclusion doesn't mean you could start a new one is if he died. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah, it is the kind of like you could see the story arc if you've read the first and second one, and I knew the name of the book because I read the second one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you read it, it was right in there at the very end.
You already knew the title.
Yeah, I just figured, it's been long enough I can actually reveal the title to the public.
Yeah.
And I know that Morpheus and Max already saw this, but for the audience who hasn't, this is a rough kind of like AI sketch of what Jason Miller would look like. So yeah, just imagine this guy chasing Nick Rekieta down an alleyway in Mexico. That's what was causing me fits of laughter up in the cabin. And my family was like, what is he laughing at? So I don't know. I amuse myself while writing sometimes, which is great.
If it's not amusing yourself, why would you do it?
So
My
yeah,
new
exactly.
Fango coffee maker broke. I'm using an old school percolator over here, but I forgot to plug it in.
Uh-oh.
Percolators are actually pretty good.
You're all right. I mean, it's cool because it's so old, but it's, still works.
Yeah.
Back when we made things in this country that didn't immediately fucking fall apart.
Yeah. Well,
when we traded manufacturing jobs for cheap crap from China, how's that worked out, everybody? Sent my job over there. Did it fucking benefit? You got a lot of cheap crap out the deal.
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
Apart, and we have no manufacturing, but you get cheap shit from China.
Let's check in with chat though, because they've had some good comments. Oh
yeah.
Chibi says, "Let's go book 3." Joe says, "Yeah, I could go broke buying all of the books I want to," which is relatable for me somewhat. Chibi says, "Dogs of War with a Heart." Chibi says, "Sam, your writing is so well done." Well, thank you, Chibi. Chibi says, "Constant vigilance," echoing what you were saying. Chibi says, "Wow." Not just wow, but wow.
Wow.
Here's what I really wanted to get to. Joe Fish says, "I'd like to hear this man read my Dropbox paper. Good reading." Well, I mean, thank you. I guess, that's a big compliment from Matt, to you, Max. So,
yeah, well, big responsibility. I want to paint your shit in a bad light, right? Right out the gate. That would be a bad move.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, I was really happy to have you read that on air. So, and I'll be excited next week. Hopefully, when I can unveil the cover, that will be exciting.
Yeah.
I've got
to follow this cover. Like, I legitimately love this cover. By the way, it really captures that. The conception people have of the men in suits smoking cigars in bag rooms, but this is probably more really what it's like, where they're still kind of not in bag rooms. There's a window present, but I think that's to make a point specifically.
Yeah,
where they do shady backdoor planning right out in front of everybody. That's why.
People ask me like why I chose the Impressionist art style. A, because I love the Impressionist art style actually, but B, I just thought it would look cool for this type of thematic. Like, I know it's not necessarily exactly like detective like noir, but it is, I guess, like government thriller noir. So that's what I was going for. So I'm glad people like it so far. And I'm glad
it's great because it's a throwback, just from like a guy that used to read a lot of these. It's a throwback to what we used to call like dime store novels, even though there was no dime stores when I was a kid. It was still kind of the term. Or like pulp. like Pulp Fiction, not the
Yeah.
movie, but the concept, where they're short
Yeah,
fiction
the
stories,
genre.
and they're not like a big investment to read. You can read these in a night if you really want, or a weekend, or just when you're in the bathroom.
There is actually a genre now called new pulp, which I guess is what like technically I'm in, and there are some other new pulp authors. Terrence McCauley is one of them who's been on, but there are others who I guess have found my work, and so like we're all networking now, and some of them I guess have expressed interest in coming on the show over the summer. So, yeah, I'm excited.
We're gonna have our very own Summer of Sam.
Here's the
minus
thing,
all the. We're gonna have our own Summer of Sam minus all the brutal killings.
Yeah. Well, the Summer of Sam is actually a trope I've used on the show like for years now, actually.
But did you ever say without all the brutal killings? Because I think that's an important distinction.
I did say I always have said without all the brutal killings.
Okay.
So
that's good.
This is season 15 of the Summer of Sam that's coming up without all the brutal killings.
Well, at some point, then you have to subvert the trope and do the. Never mind.
Either that, or he's just
well,
the body
I don't know. I don't know. Aaron Einholz's pride is is pretty much dead, and that is something I wanted.
Sadly, not actually. It seems like it's not dead, which is the wild part. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, that is something I want to point out here real quick, because as I was pointing out to like Morpheus, like we kind of called out Aaron for all his for his assholish behavior with Wheelchair Johnny.
And though we hadn't mentioned it previous, I was quite aware that he did the same kind of shit to his wife, April, before they split. Yeah. Which probably, like, shot in the dark had something to do with it.
Yeah. So, but here's my thing, and I might be a little harsh here, but like I've been seeing on social media that all these people are like now sympathetic. Oh, Aaron, we're so sorry that your wife ran off with Nick Rekieta. We feel so bad for you. Here, I have a couple of super chats. No, fuck that dude. For every one of those people who have posted that, I've posted the video of him being an asshole to Johnny. Because
we could find more of him being an asshole to his actual wife, right? Like I know that those exist.
What did he do to make April run away? That's the real question.
Yeah.
He exploited her and put her out on the internet when she didn't want to, near as I can tell.
Yeah.
So, just to answer Mort's question, but like that's my point. Is like this guy created his own.
Like if you read the police documentation that's been publicly made available, okay?
Yeah.
Aaron was with them at the event that caused them to have the police called in an investigation started in the first place. Was that they apparently all both Requetas, Aaron and April, went to a casino and left the children in charge of just themselves. So they were out partying at a casino. They left all the kids at home alone. Now, that's a lot. It's something like 8 or 9 children total, and I don't know any of their ages, so I don't know if that's appropriate or not, but certainly the children spoke about that, apparently, that event, to the pastor, like I said, that worked at the homeschool with them, and some other people from their church. And the other people all apparently said they tried talking to this guy and having an intervention on Rekieta specifically. But regardless, Aaron was there for a lot of this. It seems to me he might not have been into the cocaine, right? And that's what separates him from the rest.
Yeah.
And good on him, I guess. But is that really the highest bar to not become a drug addict? No, not really. It's an unfortunate situation. Again, for the kids, all the kids involved. It sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I understand it, it's Aaron's children are not April's children. She's their stepmother. I don't want to like dismiss that role entirely, okay? But like they're not biologically her children. She's their stepmother. But that still means she was their stepmother for at least several years, right? And so like this has to be hard on the kids, just like logically speaking. And then the Ricadas, mommy and daddy both went to jail. That's so terrible, right?
Yeah, well, and then to have to have like your parents like plastered all over the internet like that too. I mean, it might not hurt the kids now, but like, you know, down the road when they're teenagers, like that's the type of shit that like doesn't go away. And so like, yeah,
you never even know, because kids today are as cruel as ever and maybe a little more smart.
The kids are absolutely going to get dragged for it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's not right, but then also, I guess they're out on he posted a bond and she's out on like she has terms of release. He doesn't, which means no drug testing or alcohol testing. Man, imagine paying $50,000 so that you can drink, Sam, because that's what he just did.
I mean, I just paid $23 for a 24 pack of beer, and that's like a lot of money.
Yeah, well, he's still got to pay the 23, but you got to pay that 50 grand first so he doesn't go to jail for doing it. And I'm pretty sure look, he's an alcoholic. Alcoholics have very predictable behavior, and if they can make it so they can still drink while going through the bad times, they usually do, because it's not, if they can still drink, it's never rock bottom. I'll tell you that. Rock bottom It only occurs for like an addict when they are not, when it's just going to immediately have bad repercussions is usually when they see the light, you know?
Yeah.
And even then, a lot of them just die instead. My biological father was one of them. He got most of his liver removed. They said you can never drink again. He died 2 years later. He went back to drinking. So yeah, he paid 50 grand so he can drink for sure. Like I'm pretty certain about that, which is an insane thing to do.
Yeah, and
my first priority would be my kids, you know.
Right?
How about that 50,000 for all the therapy they're gonna need?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So like, I've been posting on X that like that like the kids are the ones I really have sympathy for in this, and people think I'm being an asshole to Aaron, but like again, like I'm sorry,
he had his hands in this pot as much as the rest of the other three. The only thing is he just didn't do the coke. Right? Which I can relate. I am the guy at a party who won't do coke either, right? I've been at plenty of parties where they're like, "Oh, Max, come blow a line." No, right? I'm just not into that. That doesn't mean you're not a part of the reckless party. You know what I'm saying? That just means you're saying no. And you're watching everybody else around you. A man got your wife addicted to cocaine. I can't think of a worse way to get cucked, to be honest with you. That's probably the worst way you get cucked is another person from outside your relationship has brought, you know, a full-blown addiction onto your partner. And so in that way, I do feel for him. But if there was a time to stop it, it seems like he didn't. If there was a time to pull the brakes, he waited until the cops pulled the brakes, you know, and rolled out with a SWAT team, I'm sure. Whatever, you know, it's sad. It's all pathetic. I hope better for those children.
Yeah.
And for them, like all the people involved, like fucking get your shit together. Take it as a wake-up call.
Well, yeah, let me put it to you this way. Craig Mansfield actually tweeted this out today. Something along the lines of, it's bad when Ethan Ralph is telling you need to get sober.
Yeah. Seriously. And then,
if
specifically
he's
Coke
telling
too, like Coke is like one of the worst habits to have. It's hard to break and it's expensive. And usually people end up switching even if people start rich, they end up on crack because it's cheap and they end up broke and fucking not in good health, It's not a good way to go.
Hunter Biden.
No.
Hunter Biden, exactly. Hunter Biden, think about that. Hunter Biden smoking $20 hits of crack doesn't make any sense unless you realize how bad cocaine addiction actually is, right? To where he had all the money. This guy could paint. He could just slap the canvas with some paint smeared on his dick and sell it for like $100,000. And that's Hunter Biden, by the way. Like, he just finger paints and he gets all this money because he's Hunter Biden. And he could spend all that on coke, but he's still broke ass doing crack. Because that's because cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah. Cum Filter in the chat says,
he says, yeah, I'm fucking your wife. Why? Because I got coke. Exactly. That's what happened to Aaron.
Yeah, and I'm not making that up, folks. That is literally the person's username is Cum Filter.
Cum Filter, good friend of the show.
Good friend of the Sandwich Makers show either, which, by the way, shout out to Maxine and shout out to Chibi as well. That they did a bang up job on the Sandwich Makers show, so much that they got me to put Medicare's show on hold.
Yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate that the way the scheduling worked is it happened to be on a gym stream night. But they still got they got like similar audience numbers to ours, so that was pretty good. Shout out to all the ladies. They did a great job, and shout out to chat for making sure that I shut the fuck up. They let me. They were very adamant that I needed to shut the fuck up, and it's good feedback, actually.
Yeah. Rowan Dipshit says, "I don't think I should follow ever in my parents' footsteps in smoking crack ever." Yes, and that is why we. That
is not a legacy to continue. You're correct, sir.
Yeah, that is not a legacy to continue, and that is why we keep an eye on you too, sir. So,
that's the last thing I worry about with him. There's a million other concerns with him than that. His mad science being one.
Yeah. Yeah, mad science in scatology or whatever he's into.
I don't think he's into poop. Pretty sure that's a damn.
Who knows?
Yeah. No, just say no to crack is not advice you should have to give out. But it is. I never understood it. See, when I was a kid, I didn't understand how you end up on crack, right? Because, like, now I know most of them start with cocaine. They start with cocaine and they end up on crack because it's cheaper. But when I was a kid, it just made no sense. Because what's the fucking sales pitch, right? It was like, hey, man, do you want to be itchy and smelly and addicted and fucking homeless? Hit this. I'm like, nah, I'm straight. That doesn't sound fun at all. No, it's great,
Well, according to Nick,
the high is great, man.
Well, according to Nick, his sales pitch is it helps you manage your stress, which, like,
I heard that one, the stress level thing. Oh my god, yeah, cocaine abuse Nothing is going to make you less stressed out than abusing cocaine, the most notorious stimulant there is, except maybe meth.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, I've heard that before from I've heard that before from recovered cocaine addicts that hey,
Yeah,
they
because
thought
the problem is you're already addicted. So if you don't take it, you do get stressed out. So they're not lying. But the problem is that stress comes from you getting addicted to cocaine or some of these hard drugs in the first place, because there's potheads might be annoying when they don't get to smoke, but they don't have potentially fatal side effects, right? They're just man, I haven't gotten pot in a day. Oh no, I'm so stressed. That's not how it is for a cocaine addict or a meth addict. It's not, oh man, bummer. I'm a little stressed out. It's your body is trying to force you to go get more by any means necessary.
right.
Your brain will lie to you to make you do more drugs. Right? It's wild. Your body will start to make you feel like you're going to die if you don't get them. And in some cases, that's true.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's tough to break a habit. That's what it is. And it's the best course of action is to avoid picking up a habit like that to begin with, right? And that's the thing that any former, and they're not former, they'll tell you they're not former addicts, but any addict will tell you this, right? The easiest course of action is to not get addicted in the first place. Right. And that it's much easier than actually getting clean. That's hard. It's really hard to get clean and then to stay clean.
Yeah, I've heard so many addicts so many addicts that I know that you're never a former addict. It's a lifelong battle after you get clean.
Well, Joe Fish says it's Satan, and I mean, there's a resonance to that there's certainly, no matter what you believe, it's certainly a coalition of negative, energy, emotion, and feelings. So that's the perfect way to personify it. It's, get these addicts. It's like they have a literal demon on their back a lot of the times. And for many, 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 religion is their answer and it helps them. So I don't disagree with him at all in that.
Yeah.
Of course, that looking to the Lord for an answer doesn't absolve you of self-responsibility either, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely not. Well, other than cocaine lawyer, now Max, even though
by the way, we should point out the title thing. The PCP Cripples thing was a joke.
Yeah.
That I keep saying because it's so absurd, the idea of a podcaster who occasionally does PCP. And then Nick Rekieta made a, lawyer podcaster that does cocaine for real. So it's not as funny anymore. So I'm kind of retiring that joke.
Yeah. Well, what's even crazier, Max, is what's even crazier is we literally did the joke about PCP about cocaine cripple the night before the news broke. Literally
while they were being raided, we were on the air making those jokes. Yes.
And what's even better is we had at least I had no idea. I had no idea that any of that shit was. Because people DM me holy shit, you guys were on the cutting edge, and I'm like, what are you
accidentally?
What are you talking about?
No, we joked off air for a half hour, and most of us went to bed and then woke up the next day and was like, oh wow, right while we were talking about cocaine cripple, huh? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's actually what we had. No fucking idea any of this was going on. We just woke up the next day and saw all the news and laughed. We all had a hearty laugh about it. I'm sure everybody did. And then everybody started thinking, oh, they got kids, and it feels bad. I got another story though, Sam, and it's been a hell of a week. Another thing that we were going on about, maybe not last week, but maybe the week before, but it was certainly one of them. The Libertarian Party, Sam. Can we talk about the Libertarian Party for a second?
Please. Let's do an entire segment on this, actually.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Chat, did I tell you about them losers in the Libertarian Party before? So they got Trump to speak at an official party event. And if you listen to what he says, a lot of it was tailor-made specifically for the libertarians. And they kept screaming at him the whole time he was talking. Two things: end the Fed and free Ross Ulbricht. If they'd have listened to him, he agreed he was before in his pre-written fucking like bullet points that he was going to talk about to free Ross Ulbricht. By the way, I disagree with that for various reasons. If any of the free Ross Ulbricht types want to come on and debate me about it, I'll be glad to get into it. But it doesn't matter because Trump said that he would commute the guy's sentence. And that's his platform. That's one thing they wanted. He also said he wouldn't make any law getting rid of Bitcoin or anything like that. And he wouldn't make a central bank digital currency of the US dollar, like a Bitcoin USD. So he gave them a lot. He talked about Second Amendment stuff. He talked about free speech stuff. You would think the Libertarian Party would be maybe not their as biggest fans because, again, they disagree on the end the Fed issue. Whereas he says, if I were to do that, millions of people will die within the next year. So no. But libertarians don't seem to think of the bigger picture like that or care. But like he can't say that, even if he wanted to do that. If you want to end the Fed, libertarians,
right?
Actually, instead of just screeching it in people's faces like that.
Max, I'm going to interrupt real quick. Our buddy Apex asked if it's too late for him to join.
It's never too late for Apex.
No, not at all.
Jump on in, Apex.
I think I put the link in the group in the TWR group chat.
Yeah, send somebody, send them a link, you know. So but
if you need me to
Trump the whole time, and they heckled him, they yelled at him, even though he was giving them a bunch of concessions, and he replied at the end of his speech there, saying, "This is why nobody takes your party seriously, and this is why if you want to win, you would do the things I'm doing." But you're happy taking your 3% every couple years and feeling special, which is true. So, yeah, if you're a small L libertarian, just remember that the big L Libertarian Party took a huge L this week when they got the first ever major party candidate to speak at their fucking thing, and they booed him mercilessly. Because they're losers.
I saw that too. That was wild. I like how Dave Smith introed the whole thing. He's like, listen, you fucking retards.
Yeah.
The former president, soon to be next president. How about we not act like fucking children and listen to what he says? And then, yeah, they just booed him.
Shout out, actually, I do have to point out a couple of people that deserve attention. Dave Smith's one of them.
Yeah.
And some of the other people, I can't remember everybody who were like against this behavior because they knew it was stupid. But if you were one of those people booing Trump, enjoy being a loser again and again and again. And then ask yourself why your message, if it's so true and it's so correct and it's so right, isn't popular.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's so universally true, you know what I mean? Like, I get that society's brainwashed in many ways, but I mean, if
you don't win something as big as the fundamental change of the nature of your fucking society
yeah,
with a minority population.
Yeah.
Right.
Of 3% or less. Doesn't happen.
Yeah. And they're like, well, 3% is a lot of people. And it's like, well, Well, yes, but also
It's
no.
like 3 million people out of 300 or 3.3 million people out of 330 million people in the last election. And actually,
Right.
by the way, they only got 1.5% in the last election, not 3%.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they picked a shitty candidate like they did this time. The guy they picked this time, you'll find plenty of pictures of him wearing a mask because he wears a mask currently on the campaign trail.
He's a
And of
crazy
course,
leftist.
he sports nothing but rainbow-colored gear. And he believes in open borders for everybody. So there you go, libertarians. There's your fucking loser candidate for your loser party.
Oops. Sorry, I thought it was muted there. I didn't mean to cough in the mic.
Well, I mean, it's kind of fitting for them, though. I mean, well, they've had like what? They've had Gary Johnson, what Joe Jorgensen or whatever her name is, and now this guy. So
what's this guy's name? I don't even know who it is.
Chase something.
yeah,
Chase. I don't remember. I just saw the picture of him wearing the mask, and he's the libertarian candidate, guys. Guess what he support? The
Mask
vaccine
mandate.
mandates.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's libertarian as fuck. Am I right? You fucking lose.
Yeah,
Dude, if you associate yourself with that party, you are a loser. Just let them fucking die in the fucking insane big fish, small pond bullshit that they've built for themselves and go do something better with your life. And I'm not saying go vote for Trump. Literally go do no politics. It'll be more of a fucking useful use of your time than dealing with these losers that will just drag you into their mess.
We pointed out like a month ago on this show too that these are the same losers who like booted Ron Paul out of the party for some like I don't even know, I don't even remember why, but they booted Ron Paul out of the party after he was the only. Ron Paul is literally the only reason why anyone my age even knows what the Libertarian Party fucking is.
Because after 2016, the goal of the party, they got Gary Johnson, and it didn't go well, right? So they decided, let's get another dejected political group that's not, taken in by the establishment. They went for the Bernie Bros. That's who runs the party now. Vosh is a major person in the Libertarian Party.
Yes, sir.
It's theirs, man. They took it over. So if I were a Libertarian boy right now, right, I would say, fuck your party and go do something else. Literally anything else. Because it's a waste of your fucking efforts. These losers want to be losers, and they want you to waste your time, energy, and money losing with them.
Yeah, misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it is like, I don't even know like what the point of that party is anymore, other than to like just lose.
Well, it's not the Vanguard Party, because the Vanguard Party would hold true to the principles regardless of anything. And they don't do that because they had Gary Johnson, Joe Jorgensen, and this new guy. So it's not anything. I'm telling you, it's a place for losers of the other political parties to be the big dog. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in the Democrat Party, Vosh would be a nobody. They wouldn't give a fuck what he has to say. But in the Libertarian Party, he's a featured speaker.
Yeah, and I think at worst it's just controlled opposition. It's a place to congregate people that think outside the two-party,
dissident weirdos.
Yeah, they're basically from what I've seen over the last several years, they're basically old school anarchists, like let people fuck kids if the kids consent. Let's and all the other shit that it's like,
well, they won't believe in a government, so who's going to stop them, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And again, what I say to them about the issues and the Fed is the same thing I say about that issue. You cannot have that changed in a way that you would be favorable for without convincing the majority of society who is inherently repulsed by the very notion of that. And in fact, when you start to talk about the idea of anarchism to them, that's one of the first things that they're going to ask is about specifically predation on children.
Yep.
Right.
People aren't okay with that. Even if you call it hippy dippy fucking anarchy, well, you won't pay to stop them. Yes, people will. That's why there are governments. That is one of the things people think they are paying for, whether they do a good job or not.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of people who would go out of their way to do it themselves without, being paid. You know what I mean? Like communities and shit. Yeah. Of course, in a perfect world, that's how all this shit would get handled. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like I hate to say this, but the ultimate like if the Libertarian Party had their way, our reality would basically be like Mad Max, basically. Yeah. And
we used to make a joke back in the day that one of the guys that we do the show with, who was an anarchist, we'd call it we would say his name and then say it was a toddler emporium, right? KK's toddler emporium, let's say. Because the idea is, what would stop you from buying and selling children, let alone fucking them? There's no government at all. There's no police at all. And that's people's first fucking question to these anarchists. And the anarchists often answer is, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Well, that doesn't win people over, bro. That makes people like, okay, so you're just crazy.
The other answer I've gotten is, well, people's moral decency, and it's like, okay.
That's all I can fucking do is fucking laugh at that.
Yeah, it's like okay, do you guys like live in reality? What? Yeah, like
check out literally anybody's Twitter feed any day, and you'll see some things that'll prove that people aren't necessarily morally upright when left to their own devices.
Yeah, and I mean, where does the old argument? Where does morality even come from in a world where there are no laws and there is no right or wrong? I mean.
Which is why I give Christian anarchists more credit, because at least they've thought about that.
Yeah, sure.
Their morality would come from God, religion. At least.
What'd you say, Mart?
Sorry.
I said morality is inherently supposed to come from some sort of religion.
Yeah, generally speaking. And I mean, again, in a perfect world, if you broke it down to the microcosm, then what would stop those people from buying and selling and fucking children and all the other terrible things is the community, the fathers, the brothers, you know what I mean? Those people wouldn't make it very far. But then you're left with, the other end of that coin too. People could just fucking kick your door down and kill you if they want to take you.
The guy with the biggest rock wins, which is the whole reason trade, cooperation, language, commerce, and then governments all exist.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is the guy with the biggest stick and who has the biggest muscles just wins.
Well, libertarians always get ass hurt when I bring this up, but it's true. Anarchy will fail for the same reason that communism will fail, because human nature is inevitable, and you can't just restrict people's free will with like absolute government regulation and have it work, which is what communism is. But then you also can't have like I'm sorry, Max, were you talking?
No, you letting you finish.
All you, buddy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I was saying, you can't have the government restrict human nature absolutely and expect it to work, and vice versa. You can't just let like people run wild and expect that to work either.
Right. And so that's why philosophical argument, right? But from a political argument, they've been doing this a long time. And I'll tell you, if you're the libertarian guy, you're so mad at Max right now. He called us losertarians. Yes. Okay. Here's how you stop being losers. Okay. I'm a young Max and I walk into your Libertarian Party office. Okay. And I say, well, I like the government to be smaller, a lot smaller. In fact, 80% smaller than it is. And you say, well, it needs to be 100% smaller. You don't say, get out. You say, gee, maybe we could work towards that literal 80% we have in common, right? And then we can argue about 20%. But they won't.
Right.
I'm telling you, Sam, they won't have that.
Yeah, they don't budge. And sorry, real quick, instead of moving the needle incrementally, they want a monumental fucking seismic shift in their favor. Instead of that 80%, maybe we could start even with 50% or any percentage.
1%.
I was going to say any percentage reduced from where we are now is a net win for libertarians and their, stated goal. And again, people like Dave Smith are the only reason that it holds any kind of water at all in my mind. But I'm sorry, Sam, you were about to say something.
Well, even 5% would be like a reasonable would be a reasonable case. And it's funny that Trump actually spoke at the Libertarian Party, because I've said for years that Trump is the most libertarian president of my lifetime.
That's true.
And the libertarians are like, oh, how dare you say that, Sam? He's a statist. And it's like, okay, but like,
because they've ran their own word into the ground to make it meaningless, being libertarianism and also statism, because like you never hear that word without them involved. It's only them that would ever call somebody that, because we're like, man, don't trust the government. We don't really like the government. The government does all this fucked up shit, and they're like, you statists.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for coming in.
Statist bootlicker.
It's like, okay, well, you know what? You go live over there and do your little thing, and no one will vote for you, and you'll be losers, like Trump said. And then poor Dave Smith's gonna just be at his wit's end, that he's just gonna fucking leave your party, and then what do you got?
I really wish I still had. There are times when I wish we still had the YouTube channel, because, as Apex probably remembers, I actually went to a libertarian conference, and I actually did like a mobile live stream where I like interviewed all these like crazy libertarians and asked them like all these, and I just got like, oh, you're a statist. Well, what about the fact that Donald Trump like fixed prison reform? It's not good enough. He needed to eliminate the entire like Federal Reserve. It's like
tomorrow, so that like the entire economy is just wiped out. And then what will we do? Oh, then nobody cares. Like, actually, most people care. It's the same thing. I say, they'll say end the welfare state, and I agree to we should be quashing a lot of the spending we do, and that particularly fraud. Can we start with fraud? Everybody agrees fraud is bad. They're like, no, it all has to go. Anyway, this is why people don't fucking take them seriously, because they always jump to the most extreme. And I know a lot of the smartest libertarians there are who aren't like this at all, actually. Like,
right. Same
one of them is Walter Block. They just fucking disfellowed him from the Mises Institute. He's been doing this for 40 years. I'd say he's the most principled anarcho-capitalist on the planet, and they fucking canceled his ass because he said that in a vacuum, if somebody attacks you and then holds up a baby and the baby gets hurt by you defending yourself, that it's still like you defending yourself, that doesn't make it an act of aggression. He's arguing about the non-aggression principle, the very core of libertarianism, and that was his take on it, and they canceled him for it. And this is why they're losers. Losers.
Well, I do think that they have been, pretty deeply compromised, because again, the Ron Paul libertarianism, what it's supposed to be at its core, that is like,
it was corrupted before that, though. The party. That's why he ran Republican.
Sure. Yeah, no, of course. But I mean, like Ron Paul's, and he's not perfect either, but.
And most libertarians, the people who identify that, like you're talking about, would not identify with the party either.
Sure. Yeah. And I think most people, if you broke down some primary bullet points for libertarianism, I mean, I think you could get people from both, for a fact, you would get both sides of the aisle to agree with you. But, you know, when you get these, you know, pedo enthusiasts and all the other crazy shit that libertarians advocate for, you know, I mean, even shit as simple as like no driver's license. Like, okay, maybe not a federal drive, but like,
oh no, they're pro DUI, right? You should be able to just drink and drive whenever you want.
Sure. Yeah, I mean,
that was actually famously, before he became a Nazi, Christopher Cantwell was an anarchist, and that was one of his arguments, is that he should be allowed to drink and drive.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And again, I don't know. I think a lot of this shit could be solved with just crushing the federal government and letting states and provinces, like it was supposed to be all along.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's almost like the founding fathers like thought this shit through already.
Yeah, and literally put it on fucking paper in our founding documents.
With the most libertarian fucking way of government that's ever been tried. Yeah, not good enough for them though.
It's almost like we had a whole like American Revolution in July that like.
And make no mistake, it's not that it's so corrupt now. Right? Because their argument is that any government at any time was bad. Therefore, the founding of this country from conception to them was evil.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
So it doesn't like, and then that loses a lot of American people who don't feel that way.
Yeah.
But again, that's not all libertarians. It's just a large part of the mouthpiece of the Libertarian Party. A lot of Trump supporters core base is basically libertarian, especially younger, like millennial Trump voters. They might not even have heard the word very often, but they certainly have some common interests with it. Yeah, you raised your hand. Yeah. Exactly.
I was gonna say, you're having a stroke, Sammy? What's going on there?
No, I'm not merged.
Triple moment.
So.
Yeah, we don't like big government. But you don't win us over by saying, well, no government. And we were like, well, you know, because that was my thing. I was like, well, because at the time, you got to remember, Bush was the head of the Republican Party. And then it was basically fucking McCain. And then it was fucking
Which is why I'm not a Republican.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't a Republican to vote for any of them fucking guys. I did join the Republicans in 2008 to vote for Ron Paul in the primary. And then I voted for a third-party candidate, or actually in 2008, I think I didn't vote intentionally because fuck Obama. But there was no Republican Party that I was a part of because I was anti-war as a motherfucker, right? And that was the big thing that Bush liked. McCain liked it even more. So where do I go? I found myself in the Libertarian Party, right? And there's two kinds of them. There's the kind that were like, yeah, we want a smaller government. We don't like it very much. And then it was the government itself in its construction is evil and we need to abolish it tomorrow. And I was like, you know what? Those guys at that time sat in the back corner by themselves. And most people were like, let's reduce, like, let's get rid of like some of these seatbelt fines and things like that, right? Like minor stuff that is government intrusion in your day-to-day life. I don't necessarily think you should get fined for not wearing a seatbelt. I think that's stupid. But that doesn't mean I think that there should not be a government at all. Two different things.
Yeah, right, for sure. And I mean, when you really boil it down, at least to me, in my mind, you know, self-determination is a God-given right. At least it's supposed to be. You know, the idea that we can govern ourselves is... I mean, it's basically impossible in a society even remotely as large as ours. And I think even going back thousands of years, there's always been rules for the community and stuff like that.
Hoppa's like one of their top guys, right? He specifically wrote about that it only really works in small communities with an agreed upon set of rules that is basically a private government.
Exactly. It's literally that. And my point is the bigger you make that mechanism, the more impossible it becomes, or the less possible or less likely a positive outcome for more people is. So again, that's why
your representation in it, right? Because if you're in a town with 300 people, your voice might matter. But if you're in a country with 330 million, your voice just doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that's why I always come back to the way our fucking founding fathers wrote it down, where that we are all states are effectively their own country, with a thread running to the middle.
Defense and trade was the whole point.
Sure, literally defense and trade. Yep. Yeah. So all this. I mean, states should be. The difference between Florida and Oregon and New York and fucking California and even Indiana from Illinois. You know what I mean? Like, the differences in people and temperaments and hobbies and shit. I mean, of course, there's some through lines, of course, but we're all fucking individuals. And as much as they want to make us all fucking robots, even through the last couple of decades of just fucking shoveling curated content into our faces and collecting every single thing you say and do with
in a way that's never been done in human history.
Never even really conceived of, I don't think. I'm not even sure that fucking science, because you know how science fiction writers from decades and however many decades ago, like more or less predicted a lot of technology that's come out, some not yet, but seem more probable. I don't think most of them could envision, at least not a few hundred years ago. Maybe, I don't know. But it's crazy how deep the roots go into each and every one of us.
Like, even if you look at like 1984, which is, we're talking within 100 years, right? It has not manifested in the same way as that book. You notice there's some similarities for sure that people point out because they're eerie, but there's also a casualness to everything. That it's more normal than normalized than in the book 1984's world, where it's a little uneasy about like there's no unease. Everybody's just cool with it.
You know what's fucked up is sorry, real quick, the people in this world now that venture to read 1984 for the first time as an adult, be them blue-haired Antifa or some fucking supposed libertarian, they read that and they're like, oh my God. Like, and they'll use it as an example for what, an attempts being made now in current year as to, oh, look, they're trying to make 1984. You fucking retards. We've been living there pretty much since 1984.
We're already in like a 2.0 version or a 3.0 version.
Oh, yeah. They're coming out. We're about to come out of beta.
Like TV, the TV generation, which is mostly boomers and Gen X. That was the 1984. This is beyond 1984.
Well, what I was going to say too is like, it's not the same book, but Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451, that was like that's a book that like I read, and like, that it's very rare because that book talks about how there are constant screens everywhere, like, and you're like surrounded by your house. Well, we have that with smartphones, pretty much, like, and Ray Bradbury could never.
We're a combination of those two and Brave New World, if you wanted the truth of it, where everything is just normal. Like, the average person's got too much on their plate to really sit down and deal with the fucking surveillance state, or even
and then people always forget this. Book burnings were a thing, and in Fahrenheit 451, and we might not be like literally burning books, but like, censorship in the in the internet, like someone writes something that like that the powers don't be like Trump, they can just delete his entire social media page or whatnot, which is,
or even just
essentially in my mind,
like Facebook just nuked me. I was just gone. Not even banned properly. Like, they deleted my account so hard that I actually used the same email to make a new one.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Just to see if I could, because they had deleted everything. They said that your account can't be. It didn't say banned. It was just like, you're gone, and they can do that at a whim. And if they had decided, Facebook decided to do that, but let's say Twitter also decided, and YouTube also, they could just unperson you. And that's who would even care. Like, most people wouldn't even know. Trump. Yeah, exactly what they're trying to do. And if they can do it to the fucking former president, they can definitely do it to you.
Yeah, that's one of the things that stood out to me ever since I was a kid. I don't even know exactly how old, but I had the thought that, like, who's controlling the shit that's being passed down to us? Obviously, for the past several thousand years, it was all written down, or it was carved into something, or it was built. You know what I mean?
It's the lizard people.
And even before that, you had the priest class would be the answer, right? Like you had an answer to your question.
Right. That's my point. The information has always been controlled as it's spread to the masses, but there was a renaissance, I think, which is why we are where we are in society. You know what I mean? We only have the nice things we have because we sort of the society as a whole sort of broke out of that control structure, and or maybe we were let out. Who the fuck knows? But either way, I think that my point. What was my point? Sorry. I don't know. I just think that shit. I don't know. I literally just blanked entirely. I don't remember what we're talking about.
No, and I think
1984.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, just I don't know. I mean, there's always been a level of control.
You mentioned us breaking out, and I think I want to expand on that. Whether we broke out, let out, doesn't matter, because what they're doing now is trying to create a new fence for us, right? And that's what all of this surveillance is. That's what the cancel culture is. You know, we see it in a political context, but I see both sides doing it. It's you've stepped out of bounds. Yeah, you're no longer allowed at the table, which is like the exact opposite of like everything our country is founded on, but okay. I'm still that guy that, as much as I say those libertarians are losers, I think they deserve a seat at the table where we're talking. I think everybody should be allowed to speak in the public space. Yes, even the communist.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't want people banned. If your fucking ideas are fucking loony, I want to hear it so I know whether or not to avoid you or not.
Yeah, and I mean, even to the extreme that you're literally calling for violence. If some hypothetical person is using Twitter or YouTube or Rumble or any of them to organize people to go and fucking literally kill people, if that's their goal, stated goal, why the fuck wouldn't you want people to know about that?
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, I understand the idea of not giving them a platform to organize on, but Jesus fuck, dude. Like, it seems like
what has that even caused is they just organize on platforms together with all the most extreme people and all the people that get banned and already have a grudge against the fucking system. And they get to spread their message better than ever, actually.
Yeah, and they do it in secret rather than out in the open.
Yeah, nobody criticize.
Make them do it out in the open.
Look what happens if you criticize somebody, for example, in the Nick Fuentes camp of people. All of his little troglodytes will come out and attack you, right? Because they get their hug box. They don't want the outside in the hug box because it can't be a hug box anymore. So by pushing them off of these mainstream platforms and pushing them in with each other or with anybody who's even remotely edgy or likes to tell a joke once in a while, you know, you've created this. And I don't think that was an accident at all.
No.
These self-reinforcing circles of like the worst ideas possible because you banned them all from everything. And so they ended up on Gab or BitChute or whatever.
Yeah, and you also got to think about, like, you know, if you can put yourself in the shoes of somebody that thinks they have like the answers or whatever, they have this revolutionary idea that to the general public is horrible and racist and violent and unnecessary and short-sighted or whatever. Put whatever fucking adjective you want on there. They make waves, you know. They start out in the open on YouTube or on Instagram or whatever, or TikTok, and then they get fucking millions of views pretty quickly. There's many cases, but this particular case study, potential or hypothetical, is incredibly bad, quote unquote bad by modern standards. Now, the confidence that I would imagine you gain from becoming super popular like that, especially really quickly, it's going to transform real quickly shortly thereafter once you shut that person down for no real good reason other than just the things they're saying. You know what I mean? So anyway, my point is you're going to sharpen these people to deception by trying to silence them. They're going to figure out ways around. They're going to,
in the average
alternate
person,
channels and silent channels and shit.
The average person isn't equipped with the information to argue against them in a lot of cases either, because they're hidden, right? I find that very often where they'll go into like a normie, like a boomer political group, like with some of the worst people, and they'll just own it. They'll just control the whole narrative because you have the same boomer talking points, and guess what? They've developed a response to them, and then you don't have the new response programmed in yet. You see what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
And they can be very persuasive as well. Because they're also angry about like the vaccine mandates, for example. They're also angry about the election. They're angry about a lot of the same things, and they can be very persuasive that way. And because you put them off on their own, it's like you said, steel sharpens steel. And so the smarter ones are sharpening up the fucking dumb ones.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and God only knows where, again, I just feel like everything is so infiltrated by, or if it's public, if it's out in the open and it gets, any kind of real reaction, positive or negative from one side or the other, I can't look at it and not go, yeah, that's some sort of op, maybe not in its inception, but there's somebody in there or multiple people in there, that are from some lettered agency or not on paper, but it's just, that shit's been going on for literally fucking decades.
Well, and that's the other thing is like the idea of Fed. That's the common one you hear, right? He's a Fed. Yeah. He's Fed. Yeah. There is also a thing called shills that are not feds.
Oh yeah,
that they might not know who's paying them to say something either, right? You got to be wary of those people. For example, Richard Spencer got a lot of Bitcoin sent to him from Chinese wallets, as does Antifa. Actually, Antifa gets lots of money from China.
Yeah,
who'd have thought?
Yeah, what a shock. So when you say Fed, a lot of times you might even be wrong, but you got the right instinct, obviously everybody yelling Fed at Ray Epps is a perfect example of like spotting it. But a lot of these people are not answering to the federal government in any way, shape, or form. They're answering to another government. They're answering to corpos, NGOs. Soros gives all kinds of money to NGOs that the whole job is to pay people to go out to these Antifa protests. They pay lodging, they pay meals, everything.
Yeah, fuck Soros.
Yeah, that's one of the first. That's what that a story like that is what made Alex Jones popular in the 90s. They did exactly that. Yeah, they did exactly that, and that's my point. They've been doing this type of shit forever, but everything is so muddy now and murky. Because there's so fucking much information coming at us all the time.
Well, and people are growing to now adulthood who have been under this cloud of information their entire life at this point, right? And they have interesting takes sometimes. It's kind of fun watching their reaction to things, but by and large, it's that kind of apathy I was talking about. Like they just don't care. Because there's been cameras everywhere their whole life. If they were born after 2001, right? Right. In America, like there's everywhere you went, there was cameras. There's cameras in your schools, cameras fucking everywhere, right? And you got your smartphone now.
Yeah.
That's been most of your life. If you're like 18 right now, you've at least had a smartphone probably for several years.
Yeah.
It's tough. They have a different worldview than even our generation, which is only one previous to them. And it's not their fault.
Yeah, well,
it's not their fault at all.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was actually going to bring that up. Like, it's wild, just like how much more like technology has advanced just within like a generation, even like light years. You know, it's
crazy. Yeah, I had internet back in my day, but it was a BBS message board, you know, and you were using a DOS computer, most likely.
Yeah, I may have talked about this on the. Oh, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
Like Max, your son is the age of my younger sister, I would guess, and like she doesn't even know like what like a CD player is. Or like she's seen it, but like she doesn't know like a VHS player, you know, or what like a VCR is.
Yeah, that's like Betamax.
That into
yeah.
Yeah, so crazy. But anywho.
Yeah. Well, we got anything else? I think we got through everything.
Yeah, I think we got through everything as well. Once again, Max, your reading was hilarious.
I'm sorry I missed it.
Of the Dogs of War. We'll clip it because it's definitely clip worthy.
Well,
so
let me say, if you got another character in the crack addicted lawyer story that you're working on, you want read, I would love to be one of them. I'm gonna say that publicly.
yeah. If you need goons, I'd love to be a goon.
Hell yeah, I got all kinds of voices too. You know,
Minion, something like that. You know, I don't want to be like a villain.
Hey, Nicky Rackets, listen, man, I need some cocaine from you. I know I just sold it to you, but I need some monies. I don't know. That was bad. You know, don't take that as my audition, guys.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
no. Who
the dude in the story? The dude chokes him out, right? And the whole time I'm thinking, and then he makes him go with him, basically, right? And I'm thinking,
all three of us are Sammy's goons.
I'm just waiting for him to ask, "Can I take my cocaine with me?"
Hell yeah. Well, as always, guys, thank you for having me on. I'm sorry, as usual. You know what? It should just be like Apex joins for the second hour because I'm never here for the first. I'm always fucking closed on Wednesdays. So, at least lately. But I love joining you guys. I love being here. And again, thank you as always.
Oh, look, it's Cum Filter.
Well, likewise.
Hi, Cum Filter.
Yeah, Cum Filter is an interesting.
I love that name. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Cum Filter is very interesting. You know, we do.
No, by the way, I didn't mean that kind of goon. I'm not a fucking zoomer. All right, I meant like a hench. I said henchman, minion, wise guy.
Yeah,
muscle. You know.
Yeah. The
kids today, all they think about is masturbation. I swear to God.
Also, this is a little bit late, but shout out to Resisted One in the chat. One of my co-hosts on Thursday.
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's do all the plugs.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out the Sandwich Makers on the RTO Media channel on Saturdays, right?
Yeah.
They just Saturdays. Did the first show Saturday night. Had a lot of fun,
which was great. I did listen to most
Saturdays
of that.
At 10 p.m.
Saturdays at 10 p.m. And then there is Mort's show. Mort.
Yep.
Bits and
Bits and Bones on Bits and Bones on our own Rumble channel at 9 p.m. EST on Thursdays.
Is that also on the RTO Media channel?
They have their own.
Okay.
No, so that's our own. We have our own.
Very cool. And then, of course, Sammy has a few books that are available on Amazon, as well as a few audio places. What are those, Sam?
You can buy The Fourth Estate and Shadows of Deception on Amazon in paperback and Kindle, and then you can also buy both of those in audiobook format on Audible, read by the great Doug Green, who is probably going to be coming back for the third one.
I was just thinking about that the other day. That is such a cool get. And I didn't know about him before you guys told me, but that is so cool. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's awesome.
I didn't even know that he was like a Yukon like broadcaster until Max mentioned it to me last week. And
yeah, he was the voice of the Huskies for very long. That's their basketball team.
That's so fucking cool, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was yeah, he was like, because they have the March Madness tournament, and so like around here, a lot of people root for Huskies. So I've heard his voice since I was like a kid.
Yeah, well, and actually, like, to kind of bring that full circle, Max, my mom is a Yukon alumni, so
there
like
you go,
so like
wow.
I actually mentioned
look at that.
So like I actually mentioned that to her, and she's like, and because she went to buy my books, and she's like, wait, Doug Green did your audiobook? I'm like, yeah, and she's like, do you mean the Doug Green? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's the same Doug Green.
No, that's the same one. Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah, very fucking cool if you ask me. But yeah.
Dogs of War is coming out in August, and then and then Eric
is that your next book?
Yep. So it's got to come out by August so that Max won't hobble.
That's right.
Me.
We got to keep the process flowing.
Motherfucker, you're in a wheelchair. How's it going to hobble you? Come on. You just shove a stick in your wheels.
I just keep saying it, and so he's developed it being scary for him, even though at first he said the same thing. Either way, look, we got to make sure he finishes the book, is all I'm saying,
So what would be funny is if you put
as a fellow cripple, there are ways there, Apex.
Right.
Yeah, I was just about to say, just off the top of my head, if you put like super strong like mousetrap glue on like a quarter of one of your wheels, just on the wheel part, made sure it adhered. Boy, that would hobble you like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I gotta be his number one fan, and be like, I need to finish my story.
Well, I want to finish it. Like, I want to finish this first season, like, anyway, because it's a good story. And then Jason Miller, the character who you read for the other night, he might be getting a spin-off series of his own, because listen, Mexican drug cartels, that is actually some fascinating shit once you like looking.
It's fucking scary is what it is, man.
It's scary.
It's a great setting for a modern day cowboy like this guy was, though.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. That is like the modern day like spaghetti western. Unfortunately, yeah. So, and then finally, just because I'm in a generous mood, Eric Bishop once again has his book Breach of Trust coming out on June 18th, and I'll be excited to have him back on the podcast as well. And he was again very generous in having my blurb featured on his Facebook and Twitter pages today. So shout out to him.
Yeah,
for that.
The big launch too. He's been putting a lot of promo in for it and everything. So I'm excited.
Oh yeah, it'll be great to have him back. But anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in, and we love chat as always, and thanks
love
everyone
you, chat.
Shout out to Cum Filter.
Later, chat.
Thanks to everyone who is listening to this on the podcast as well. We love you guys as well, and we'll talk to you down the road. Later, Gators.
Oh, yeah.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.